We will get started with the Why Minnesota virtual session in 1 minute. Hi everyone, thank you for joining us for the Why Minnesota session today. My name is Shannon Greeley and I'm the recruiting coordinator for the University of Minnesota Doctor of Pharmacy program. I appreciate you all joining me to learn more about our program. Please feel free to use the chat feature in YouTube to send in any questions at any time. We will have a moderator read your questions and answer them as they come up throughout the presentation. Please know that there is a brief delay between when we speak and when you can hear us, so please forgive any downtime we experience when responding to your questions. Today we'll be discussing the trends in the pharmacy profession, as well as highlighting career opportunities. I'll provide information about our curriculum, career preparation, integrated into our program, and graduate success statistics. I'll show you a brief dual campus tour video and finish the session by providing you the opportunity to ask our current students questions. After today's presentation, you will receive a follow-up email with a satisfaction survey and a link to the session recording. So I want to start out by talking about career paths. The pharmacy profession offers a wide range of pharmacy career options, from teaching and research in academia to providing medication therapy management to patients. There are many ways to use your PharmD degree. Other career paths in pharmacy include community pharmacy, consulting, industry, regulatory pharmacy, and other focuses such as compounding and nuclear pharmacy. We encourage students who are still exploring pharmacy careers to visit the Career Options Profile site on the American Pharmacists Association website listed at the bottom of your screen. I will include these links in the follow-up email that I send if you're interested in taking the careers profile. Board certification is recognized as the gold standard for determining which pharmacists are qualified to contribute as advanced practice levels. The Board of Pharmacy Specialties currently recognizes the following specialty practice areas: pharmacotherapy, nuclear pharmacy, critical care, pediatrics, oncology, psychiatric pharmacy, nutrition support, ambulatory care, and geriatrics. In the past, clinical pharmacists have not made board certification a priority, but this is changing rapidly in clinical positions. As pharmacists move in the direction of becoming reimbursed professionals for optimizing medications, there will be a trend towards licensing agencies requiring board certification in certain scenarios. For pharmacy professionals, documentation of specialized experience and skills yields the additional benefits of personal satisfaction, financial rewards, and career advancement. The number of pharmacists holding a board certification is expected to double in the next 5 years. Some other opportunities in the profession: according to the DEA, they collected 336 tons of unused medications from 5,200 sites on the last National Drug Take-Back Day. This is a huge opportunity for pharmacists. National Drug Take-Back Day is a good reactive solution to the problem, but pharmacists have an opportunity to get on the front end of this issue. One way to do that is to improve medication adherence. Medication adherence refers to whether patients take their medications as prescribed, as well as whether they continue to take a prescribed medication once their symptoms start to improve. Pharmacists are also the most accessible advanced healthcare provider, with 86% of the population living within 5 miles of a major pharmacy chain. Pharmacy is also ranked among the top most trusted professions by the Honesty and Ethics Gallup poll. You'll also find that pharmacists are very involved in healthcare reform at the state and national levels. Studies show that for every $1 invested in pharmacy care services, there is a savings of approximately $4 to $5. Studies also show that a modest 1% increase in medication adherence can produce substantial decreases in healthcare costs. Another opportunity for pharmacists is that there is a $200 billion a year drug problem in our country. The majority of those costs are accrued because of wrong dosing or incorrect patients, but the majority of costs come from medication adherence issues. More importantly than the costs are the risks associated with medication non-adherence and adverse drug effects. An estimated 100,000 deaths occur annually because of those issues. Luckily, there is a way pharmacists are combating the dangers associated with prescription drugs. They are using pharmaceutical care. Pharmaceutical care is a practice model in which pharmacists work one-on-one with patients to make sure their medication is indicated, safe, effective, and convenient. The pharmaceutical care practice model can decrease costs and the number of deaths by working directly with patients regarding their medications. This model also facilitates interprofessional collaboration among healthcare providers, meaning doctors and nurses work directly with pharmacists to better serve their patients. In 2004, only 13% of pharmacists provided medication therapy management services, compared to 60% who provided these services by 2014. In 2014, more than 25% of hospitals and other patient care settings had collaborative practice agreements in place, allowing pharmacists to expand their role as an integral member of the patient's healthcare team. In Minnesota, we are one of the most progressive states in incorporating pharmaceutical care into the healthcare system. In order to help students learn more about pharmacy careers in Minnesota, we created a video series titled A Day in the Life of a Pharmacist. I'll take a couple of minutes to show you one video now, but also encourage that you view the other videos at that link on our YouTube channel.
My name is Beth Hager, and I'm a clinical pharmacist at the Minoiawan Clinic in Cloquet, Minnesota.
My name is Lieutenant Stephen Turner. I'm an officer in the United States Public Health Service.
My name is Chuck Walt. I'm the Executive Director of Tribal Programs for the Fond du Lac Reservation.
Our pharmacy is much different than your typical community pharmacy. We don't have stacks of over-the-counter medications for sale.
We've tried to make our facilities most accommodating for the community because these facilities belong to the community.
We have a very large layout that includes 3 private counseling rooms that a patient can enter, and we can go over all of their medications.
The patient feels comfortable in that setting. If there's whatever that they've got going on, they can talk about.
Likewise, it's a very accommodating atmosphere to practice.
I'm born and raised on the White Earth Reservation, and so with my culture comes a number of different challenges. Trust issues are certainly abundant. I feel like this practice setting specifically allows you to really gain the trust and forge a bond with them.
I found the pharmacists to be very, not just professional, but very personable.
You know, that's a tremendous thing. As a healthcare provider, you absolutely need that.
In our pharmacy, we see patients for anticoagulation, and I recently had an anticoagulation patient call me from the emergency room because she wanted to let me know personally that she was being admitted to the hospital. And then she said, "Oh, by the way, can you tell my doctor?" It became very clear to me that this patient viewed me as one of her primary care providers.
We are really fortunate to have this type of an operation, this type of facility here at Fond du Lac.
The next thing I'd like to cover is the career preparation built into our program. The experiential education program is the practice component of our curriculum. The summer between your first and second year, you will take part in community IPPEs. This is a 3-week program in which students spend 40 hours per week in a community practice setting. This experience is designed to familiarize pharmacy students with the fundamentals of pharmacy practice in the community pharmacy setting. The summer between your second and third year is institutional practice IPPEs. Students spend 40 hours per week for 3 weeks working in a hospital setting. This experience is designed to familiarize pharmacy students with the fundamentals of hospital pharmacy practice. Your fourth year consists of advanced practice experiences. There are 9 blocks which go for a full calendar year, with rotations required in a combination of the following areas: acute care, ambulatory care, community practice, patient care, and various electives. In addition to our experiential education, there are a lot of ways for students to get experience outside of the classroom. We have a pharmacy mentoring program that is required for all first-year students, in which our students are paired with practicing pharmacists in the area for shadowing opportunities. Our students also participate in student-run health fairs, flu shot clinics, and HOPE or PNC Clinic. HOPE Clinic and Phillips Neighborhood Clinic are community outreach programs that focus on providing healthcare to underserved communities through interprofessional collaboration. This opportunity allows students on both campuses to team up with med and dentistry students to provide healthcare to patients in the community who don't have other means of access. Your IPPE and APPE rotation sites are available across the state of Minnesota and are available to students on both our Duluth and Twin Cities campus. Another very important factor to consider when looking at different pharmacy schools is the student success. 98% of the class of 2016 graduated on time, and they had over a 91% first-time NAPLEX pass rate. 82% found employment before graduation, and 99% were employed within 3 months of graduation. Of those who entered employment, they had an average starting salary of $120,000. But the trends with our graduates are a little unique. Only 55% sought employment upon graduation, while 42% entered a residency program, and 3% entered a fellowship or PhD program. We believe that so many of our students seek residencies because of the emphasis we place on pharmaceutical care in our curriculum. We begin training students to provide medication therapy management to patients right away when they enter our program, so that students are prepared for their first summer rotations. Now I'd like to tell you a little bit more about Minnesota. We are a generalist practitioner program, meaning we prepare you to work in any number of fields that you wish to pursue after graduation. We are members of the University of Minnesota Academic Health Center, along with medicine, public health, nursing, vet med, and dentistry. We put an emphasis on interprofessional collaboration to prepare our future pharmacists to be the medication experts on the healthcare team. Here, you'll learn from world-class faculty. At the center of our curriculum is pharmaceutical care, a practice model that was developed at the University of Minnesota. Our program prepares the next generation of medication experts. All of our courses are taught directly by faculty. Because of the hard work of our faculty and students, we are ranked 3rd overall in total research funding nationally and 2nd overall as a college. With just 168 students per class across 2 campuses, we offer a small college feel with all of the resources of a large university. Although we are the only pharmacy school in Minnesota, our 1 college, 2 campuses model allows applicants the opportunity to choose between 2 great locations, Duluth and Minneapolis. To make the 1 college, 2 campuses model work, all of our courses are taught through interactive learning classrooms. The unique environment provides students the opportunity to interact with their peers on both campuses. Teaching occurs on both campuses, and a faculty member is present in each classroom, regardless of which campus the instruction is coming from. We encourage students to learn about both campuses and tour both campuses to make the right campus selection. There are opportunities to customize your degree as well. Students are able to customize their degree by pursuing one of our dual degree programs, a PharmD Masters of Business Administration, or a PharmD Masters of Public Health. Both dual degree programs require completion of your bachelor's degree. In addition to dual degrees, we offer emphasis areas in leadership and research. Students are required to take 15 credits worth of electives in order to advance to APPE rotations. The college offers international experience electives, such as Care for Haiti, Community Health History in Italy, and Portugal, a study and comparison class, among others. There are also APPE electives offered, such as the Tanzania Advanced Pharmacy Practice Experience and the Germany Advanced Pharmacy Practice Experience. Outside of the curriculum, we have a very involved student body, with 95% involvement in professional organizations, student organizations, or professional fraternities. Many students choose to participate in one or more to maximize their networking opportunities during the program. Now I'll tell you a little bit more about our Duluth campus. Our Duluth campus has 60 students per class. The small class sizes allow our students to get to know each other well and makes the Hope Clinic and health fairs more accessible. The majority of our faculty are practice faculty, and they're very easily accessible by our students. Leadership opportunities are more abundant, and the college is well connected to the community. We are ranked among the top 10 happiest places to live in America, and we were voted Best Outdoor Town in America in 2014. With just 108 students per class, the Twin Cities campus is located in the center of one of the largest metro areas in the Midwest. We are a research hub with a lot of elective courses available. The large urban area provides for a lot of opportunities for people to explore their unique interests. We have diverse faculty and a broad range of internship and employment opportunities. We are ranked as the second most bike-friendly city, and we're ranked among Forbes' best places to find a job. Now let's take a minute to view our combined campus tour video.
Welcome to the University of Minnesota College of Pharmacy.
What makes us unique is that we are one college amongst two campuses.
We share the same curriculum, same academic program, and there's a lot of interaction between the different campuses.
All our courses are taught by world-class faculty who have done an amazing job at abiding by our open door policy, who really help bring a small campus feel to a large university.
This is one of our team-based active learning classrooms in which we can collaborate with our peers here at the Duluth campus, but also with our peers at the other campus.
And the beauty of having ITV is that all courses are recorded, so you can revisit a lot of the concepts you learned that day in class in the comfort of your living room. It is at these benches that students perfect their techniques in compounding ointments, creams, and oral formulations such as tablets and capsules.
We also learn how to do patient assessments and how to administer immunizations. This is our patient counseling room. We learn how to provide medication therapy management so that they can use their medications correctly and get the most out of them.
Making the patient the center of care and making their needs our responsibility.
The University of Minnesota is committed to the best education possible by providing dual degree programs, a Master's in Public Health program, and also a Master's in Business Administration.
Additionally, pharmacy students have the opportunity to specialize their degree to either research or leadership, depending on what their interests are. Welcome to our Pharmacy Lounge. This serves as an opportunity for all students to come together.
They can mingle, just interact, and have a good time with their friends.
And to really work together, not only within student organizations, but also with collaboration activities and classes as well.
So there are numerous opportunities where students can just be involved and have fun while getting their pharmacy degree.
To help us identify living expenses our students incur during the PharmD program, we ask our graduates to estimate their additional expenses while in our PharmD program. Our Duluth students reported spending $27,216 over 4 years, in addition to tuition and fees charged by the university. The Twin Cities students reported spending $43,872 over 4 years. This estimate includes room and board and meals, among other miscellaneous expenses. The tuition charged for the PharmD program is the same, regardless of campus, but campus fees and cost of living differ, as you saw on the previous slide. The annual cost of tuition and fees for the 2016-2017 academic year was $27,430 for Duluth and $27,780 for the Twin Cities. Out-of-state tuition was $39,370 for Duluth students and $39,720 for Twin Cities students. We do offer reciprocity for residents of Wisconsin, South Dakota, and recipients of the Dean's Non-Resident Tuition Scholarship. Students in professional programs qualify for student loans to cover the full cost of tuition, so we strongly encourage applicants to complete a FAFSA. Our graduates have an average student loan debt of $140,000, but start out making $120,000 on average annually. We also award $550,000 in scholarships annually to our students. Our largest scholarship is the Dean's Non-Resident Scholarship, which awards out-of-state students in-state tuition. Applicants who submit their PharmCAS application by December 1 are considered for our scholarships based on their application for admission. Students will be notified if they will receive an award prior to our March 1 deposit deadline. Now is your opportunity to ask questions of our current students. We have two fourth-year students here with us today. I'll have Nikki and Paige briefly introduce themselves and then open the floor for questions. Please send in your questions through the YouTube chat feature, and we'll read them aloud for Nikki and Paige to answer, but please do remember that there will be a short lag between when your question is read and answered.
My name is Paige Odegaard. I'm a current PD4 student on rotations. I am from Duluth, Minnesota. I did my undergrad at the University of Minnesota on the Duluth campus, although I did not obtain a four-year degree. So I'm a little bit of a non-traditional student in that sense.
Hello, my name is Nikki Newman. I am also a fourth-year student on rotations. I grew up in Pine River, Minnesota, but I also did my undergrad at the University of Minnesota Duluth here, and I did obtain an undergrad degree before coming to pharmacy school.
Well, while we're waiting for people to type in their questions, I'll have Paige and Nikki both talk about some of the student organizations they were involved with, and they're both fourth-year students, so they're currently on their APPE rotations, so we can have them talk a little bit about their upcoming rotations as well.
So there's a lot of letters that mean a lot of things in terms of student organizations. There are 2 fraternities on the Duluth campus and 3 fraternities on the Twin Cities campus. So we have brother chapters across campuses, which is really fun and interesting. There's also MPSA, which is the Minnesota Pharmacist Student Alliance, and that provides a lot of professional opportunities. We participate in health fairs and organize them. We have internships that we do outside of the student organizations that are also a great way to get some additional education and experience.
Another fantastic opportunity that we have both on the Duluth and the Twin Cities campus in just a little different formats is student-run free clinics. On Duluth campus, we have the Hope Clinic, and it's interprofessional clinic run between the pharmacy students and the medical students on the Duluth campus. And on Twin Cities, they have medical students, pharmacy students, as well as some other disciplines involved in their free clinic, which is called the PNC. This is a fantastic opportunity to be able to work with patients. These are real patients from the community that come and see us, and it's a fantastic opportunity.
We also have social organizations and different types of wellness organizations. Like on the Duluth campus, we have PharmD Fitness, which is a good way to make sure that you're getting your exercise, and it's a good team building experience. So it's a lot of professional work, but we also have some fun too.
We have a first question, which is, how accessible are professors?
So like the video had previously mentioned, there's the open door policy. So if a professor is in their office and they're not busy in a meeting or anything, they'll just keep their door open. And if the door is open, means basically you can just go in there and talk to them about anything. If you're not able to make it into their office hours, they do have office hours as well, or can't catch them via the open door, you can always email them, and they are very good about getting back to you as quickly as they can.
Each class also has a teaching team, and it's not specifically one instructor on one campus. So there's always someone on whatever campus you're on that's available to answer your questions. And by doing that, we have access to as many professors as we have on our campus, which is pretty great in terms of numbers. And they are always willing to answer questions and available by phone or email as well, so that if you do have a specific question for a professor that's on the opposite campus, sometimes they do come up and teach in Duluth, or a Duluth faculty member will go down to the Twin Cities, but you can always call them too, so it's very easy to access professors.
Our next question asks, what are some of the undergraduate experiences you gained prior to applying to the PharmD program?
I worked as a pharmacy technician for a couple of years, and I also volunteered in multiple pharmacies, and that really helped me understand that this was a career path that I was interested in. Otherwise, I was a member of the pre-pharmacy club on campus, and just kind of tried to make myself a well-rounded person before I applied, made sure that my academics were appropriate, that I was also engaging in other activities so that I could present myself as a well-rounded person before applying.
I too had worked in a pharmacy in my undergrad experience, which was kind of my biggest experience that I have. I too was involved in the pre-pharmacy club, and like Paige said, just having a lot of experiences to make you a well-rounded candidate, having leadership experiences, not necessarily in a pre-pharmacy club, but in any club or any other activity, goes a long ways.
Okay, our next question says, I'm a prospective student. Is there any idea where I can do certain prerequisites in Minnesota? So Shannon, maybe you want to answer this one?
That's a great question. So for prerequisites, students can take prerequisites at any accredited college or university in the country, including online. We do have a prerequisites page that students can go to. The link is z.umn.edu/guide. And Katie is typing that in the chat for you to be able to see. But that guide is actually a list of transfer guides for you, so you can look at any college or university in the state of Minnesota, and it will tell you the specific courses that will transfer back and fulfill our prerequisite courses. So that's a really nice resource for you. We will be having a Become a Strong Applicant tutorial where we'll go really in depth on that type of information starting August 10th at 11 a.m. So that would be a really great opportunity for you to learn more about prerequisites and specific requirements to be competitive for our program.
Okay, another follow-up question is, what do you recommend or wish you did prior to the PharmD program?
Okay, so one thing I guess I would say that I had wished I had done, maybe I didn't realize this as an undergrad, but there are a lot of areas of pharmacy that I didn't even know existed. Like in my mind, I had the whole retail and the hospital, but there's managed care, there's all these different areas that I had like no idea about. So I guess I wish I would have done more research into all the different areas and tried to gain maybe some shadowing experiences in some other areas as well.
I wish that I would have taken some more core chemistry and biochemistry classes so that I could have gotten my degree before starting pharmacy school or done the biomedical sciences degree, which you can get after your first year of pharmacy school, because that would have opened a lot of doors in terms of master's programs for me, where I'm not a candidate for those now because I didn't take those classes and would have to go back to complete that before. So I really would strongly recommend getting a 4-year degree before starting pharmacy school.
Okay, a couple more questions. How early did you apply to pharmacy school, and where did you receive your letters of recommendation for the application?
I started my application the summer before I wanted to start pharmacy school, so I was in the first pool of people that were interviewed, and this helped because I knew that I wanted to go to the University of Minnesota, but I wanted to keep my options open, so I made sure that I got that application in first so that I could apply to other schools by their deadline if I did not get into the University of Minnesota, and that way I saved a lot of money on application fees. So that was really good for me.
I also started applying to pharmacy schools pretty early, kind of right at the beginning of when they opened up the PharmCast as well. I think I had most of my stuff in by the beginning of September or October. I forget, this is a while ago. For letter of recommendations, I got letter recommendations from professors that I had done a lot of work with, that I had TA'd with in undergrad, as well as pharmacists that I worked for at my job.
My letters of recommendation were from the senior technician at the pharmacy that I both volunteered and worked at because she had gotten to know me well. I used a previous employer at a grocery store, so it didn't even have anything to do with pharmacy really, but he could speak well to my character. And then a Spanish professor from my undergraduate work, because we had small class sizes and he was able to speak well to me as a person. And I think it's really important that you find people that know you rather than just picking your OChem professor if you don't know them well enough for them to write you a good recommendation. Find someone that can write a good one no matter who they are.
As long as we're on the topic, Shannon, do you have anything to add about what kind of letters you recommend students seek out?
Paige really set me up really nice to answer this question for you. I would say a perfect mix would be 3 different types of recommendations. So a perfect mix might be a supervisor, a pharmacist, and a faculty member. But with that said, as Paige had mentioned, it is much more important to have 3 strong recommendations. So if you don't have good connections, close connections with any of your faculty members, if none of them know you really well, it's not advantageous to ask one of them to write you a letter of recommendation. It would be much better to rely on a supervisor or maybe someone you worked with for community service or something like that. Something to keep in mind as well, though, is as you're meeting people like pharmacists that you might be job shadowing or faculty members, make connections with those folks so that you do have people to rely on for letters of recommendation later on.
Okay, next question. Can you share what a typical day is like or what your schedule looks like while you're in the program?
So it's hard to have a typical day. Like, it varies depending on how many classes you have that day. A lot of students work as well, so you might be working. I would say your homework load, that will fluctuate as well. Yeah, it's very difficult what a typical day is.
Generally, I like to exercise. That kind of I lost my way a little bit during the past year of pharmacy school, but I would have to get up around 5:30 or 6 o'clock to be able to go to the gym before class at 8 o'clock. And we don't always have 8 a.m. classes. It depends on the semester and what electives are taken. And then class pretty much all day. We have a lot of lunch meetings for our student organizations. So over the lunch hour, we would be eating and organizing things for our student organizations. And then after class, I had an internship that required working during the week in the evenings. So some days I would work, some days I would do homework, and I would just try to fit it all in to whatever days I could.
Okay, our next question is asking about letters of recommendation and using Interfolio and how that differs from the FarmCast format. So we're going to see if Shannon can answer this one.
We will go much more in-depth on FarmCast during the FarmCast tutorial on July 27th. Anyone who's applying for Fall 2018, I would really strongly encourage that you join us for that session. If you can't make it live, we will make the link available with the recording. And the reason I say that that's so important is that FarmCast is changing this year. They are upgrading to FarmCast 3.0, so the student experience will be a little bit different, but it is more user-friendly. So how the letters of recommendation work through FarmCast is that students will send requests from FarmCast directly to the recommenders via email. The recommenders will need to fill out, it's essentially a rubric that grades you on certain criteria like your communication skills, ethics, leadership, and those types of traits. And then it also gives the recommender an opportunity to recommend you. So they can highly recommend, recommend with reservations, not recommend, and so on. So please know that they will have to provide that type of input on you as well. Then they do also have the option to either upload a letter of recommendation on your behalf or insert comments. So they will have the opportunity to do that as well, but they will need to do it through that link that you send them through FarmCast. So please help your recommenders understand that that's coming. I also strongly encourage students to provide a deadline for recommenders. I know working in academia, faculty respond really well to deadlines. And so if they know a deadline that you need the recommendation by, they will get that in on your behalf.
Okay, next question. How did you prepare for the PCAT?
I used a PCAT prep book. I can't remember what the name of it was now, though. I did not attend any classes. I just used that book, and I went through and a Kaplan book. Yep, that was the one. And I took all of the quiz questions that were available. I know that I learn by failing, and so getting questions wrong was a great way for me to learn, and that's really how I studied.
I used a Kaplan PCAT book as well. I found it very helpful. It really gave just kind of condensed topics and articles on each subject, and then had quizzes at the end as well, which were really helpful for me to be able to gauge if I understood it, if I needed to go back and review it. I kind of had a pretty good idea of which subjects were maybe my strengths and which ones were my weaknesses, so I made sure to focus more time on the ones that I knew I was not as strong as. You can also buy like PCAT, prep questions or prep tests as well, and I found those really helpful. I know they don't time you on those, but I timed myself and made sure I had to try to get through it in the 4 hours or however long you have, just to kind of give myself a good idea of what to expect when it came the test time.
Along with the PCAT prep, can you talk about how long you took to prepare for the exam or how early you started?
I took the exam close to the end of summer, so I began studying as soon as finals were over that summer. So I had about 2 to 3 months is what's recommended. So that's about how much time I spent on it. I made a schedule for myself to go through the chapters in the book and to give myself time to do the test questions, and then also time at the end to go back to the parts that I really struggled with or needed to spend more time on to make myself stronger in that category.
I took about the same amount of time. I took mine a little bit earlier in the summer, so I started kind of towards the end of my last semester of undergrad to start studying. And yeah, just kind of setting a deadline for yourself to make sure you get through all the material. I also kept kind of like a little scorecard to just show how much time I had spent putting in and like studying toward it, just to help calm my nerves. Because I was like, oh, look, Nikki, you spent so and so hours already studying for this.
Can you talk about how you decided between the Duluth and Twin Cities campuses?
It's pretty easy for me, I guess. I did my undergrad here at Duluth, so I preferred Duluth, but was willing to go to the Twin Cities if needed. I have always loved Duluth. I love the size of it. I'm very outdoorsy, so I love all the outdoors activities. So to me, there was really no question in my mind about which one I wanted to go to.
So I've never left Duluth. And so on my application, I said that I would go to either campus because that's also an option. And I ended up on the Duluth campus, which I couldn't be happier with. But I think there's advantages to both campuses. And it's really about making the right choice for what fit you need. And that kind of stuff is all about spending time on each of the campuses and determining where you feel most comfortable, because you are going to be there for 3 years all the time, but really 4 years, and finding somewhere where you're comfortable to learn and to push yourself as hard as you can is really important.
What was your interview day like?
Yeah, so interview day, you come and they kind of give you a little presentation about the curriculum, about the campuses. They give you information about both of them, so don't be worried if you get your interview day on one campus, but you wanted to go to the other campus. And then you have your interview, which I was very stressed out for, but it was very laid back, relaxed. Like the professors or your interviewer definitely makes you feel like less stressed out. They want to help you succeed, we'll just put it that way. And then after my interview, I had a tour of the campus, and then it came back and we had some final wrapping up things, I guess.
So now on interview day, you get to see what ITV looks like and how it works, which is really cool, especially before you're in the classroom setting, to kind of understand how that all works. And the professors are absolutely amazing. I love all of our professors, and I think that they do a phenomenal job making everyone feel comfortable. You're going to be nervous no matter what on interview day, but everyone will tell you as soon as you get here, it's not a big deal. They're going to be nice to you. It's just a conversation to see who you are and how you're doing and what makes you want to be here.
Does someone want to talk about what the interview setup looks like? Is it a group interview or a panel interview?
So the interviews are 45 minutes long, and it's not a group or a panel. It's just you with the one other interviewer, typically a professor.
And that professor is typically clinical faculty, which means that they have a pharmacy practice and they're pharmacists. So they know exactly what it was like to go through the curriculum and to go through pharmacy school, and they just want to make sure that you're going to do a good job and succeed in that too.
Do you feel well prepared for the NAPLEX or the MPJE?
So just like the PCAT, it tests you on a lot of things. And I think the curriculum does a really great job setting us up, but no matter what, we're going to have to put in the time and energy in studying for it. It's the biggest test we'll ever take. It's bigger than the PCAT, so just think about how stressed you are to take the PCAT now and then probably triple that.
If Paige and Nikki don't mind, I'll add something too. The NAPLEX exam was sort of restructured last year. And so what we saw nationally was that the average pass rates did decline. So we were really proud of our 91% NAPLEX pass rate. In prior years, it had been around 97%. But I believe the national average was mid-80s last year. So we were still really proud of that 91%. But I'll let Nikki let you know what she's done to prepare too.
Well, I wish I could say. I'm sorry. But besides like classes and the curriculum, I do think they do a really good job of giving you the basis foundation that you need. But yeah, it's definitely, you do have to put in your own time and your own work into it, which I should hopefully start soon.
And one thing about the NAPLEX is on these rotations for APPEs, we're getting advanced pharmacy practice. So there's different electives and focus areas on the rotation. So there's an acute care rotation, an ambulatory care rotation. I had a psych elective. So I'm kind of structuring my studying around the rotation that I'm on, because it's kind of weird being done for the day after the rotation's over, after studying and doing so much homework. So I'm still kind of trying to keep that up as I'm going through rotations for fourth year.
Does anyone have any final questions for Nikki and Paige? Or questions for Katie or I on anything in the presentation? We'll give you about another minute if anyone's still typing. Well, as I mentioned earlier, please sign up for our other sessions if you would find them useful. The two we have coming up are the PharmCast tutorial and our Become a Strong Applicant. And so for the PharmCast tutorial, we'll go really in depth about how to make a good PharmCast application and what the application cycle looks like for the University of Minnesota. PharmCast will be opening July 18th. This year, and so we are hosting that session on July 27th so that you have an opportunity to go in and create an account, but then we'll walk you through some steps and tips. We will also cover some of the changes to PharmCast 3.0, so if any of you are reapplicants, that will help you learn some of the new things that were created in the student experience. For students who aren't quite ready to apply, so if you're not applying for fall 2018, or even if you are, I would really recommend the Become a Strong Applicant session for you. In that session, we'll be going really in depth about our steps to apply and our 8 selection criteria. In addition to covering the criteria that we look at when students apply, we'll also be giving you some tips on how to be a competitive applicant and some things that you can do to strengthen your application. That one will be August 10th. And both of those sessions will be from 11 to noon Central Time. Well, thank you all for joining us today. As a reminder, you will be receiving a follow-up email. It will include a satisfaction survey, so please let us know what you thought of the session today, and a link to the recording of this session. I want to thank you all for your time this afternoon. I did want to let you know as well, I will include links that were either chatted to you through the YouTube chat feature or links that were included in my PowerPoint, so you will be able to use those as a resource. Please feel free to reach out to me directly. And are there any final questions before we end today? No? All right, thank you and have a great afternoon.